After Sonic Heroes and Shadow the Hedgehog, Sega wanted to go big. This was Sonic's jump to the next generation and his 15th anniversary. The plan was ambitious, a return to something closer to the adventure games, bigger scope, and speed like never before. On paper, it sounded like exactly what Sonic needed. This was also the last Sonic game tied to Yuji Naka, who left Sonic Team shortly before release to start his own company. Rumors say he knew the game was going to turn out badly and jumped ship early, but those are only rumors. What is fact is that this game sold well and still managed to severely damage Sonic's reputation. For many longtime fans, this was the breaking point. They walked away from the franchise entirely and moved on to other series. Sonic survived mostly because he's one of the most popular characters in gaming history, but Sonic the Hedgehog nearly killed the series as we knew it. This was the moment where Sonic's reputation took a massive hit, one that took years to recover from. The story doesn't help. Sonic's relationship with Princess Elise is awkward at best, and uncomfortable at worst. Say what you want about Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric, but that game never made me feel actively embarrassed while playing it. A humanoid character romantically linked to an anthropomorphic animal just doesn't sit right with me. I don't care if other franchises have done it without criticism, it still felt wrong here, and watching it play out through cutscenes was painful. Since the story is such a major part of the game, I'll keep this criticism straightforward and move on. You notice the gameplay problems almost immediately. In Wave Ocean, Sonic feels slow, unnaturally slow, slower than he's ever felt before. That alone makes you wonder what happened to the speed Sega was advertising so heavily. Those promises technically apply to the Mach Speed sections. In theory, these are where Sonic cuts loose. In practice, they're a mess. Sonic runs non-stop, crashes into walls, clips through geometry, and sometimes glitches out of existence entirely. You lose lives not because you made mistakes, but because the game breaks. These sections feel designed to frustrate you, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is where a lot of players rage quit. I pushed through anyway. Outside of those sections, Sonic feels stiff and awkward. The controls aren't responsive enough, especially in situations where precision matters. The homing attack is unreliable, which is unacceptable in a game built around split-second decisions. And then there are the bugs. So many bugs. Even now, while recording footage, I'm still discovering new glitches. Fan projects like Sonic PO6 feel like a blessing by comparison. You can tell they were made with care and time. They're actually fun to play, but even those can't fix the story or the tedious hub worlds, which makes me question whether those elements should have existed at all. Regular Sonic gameplay here lacks speed and leans heavily into platforming. The familiar set pieces, springs, spikes, rails are all present, and the game does reward engagement, but the lack of momentum hurts everything. Add the constant glitches, and simply reaching the goal becomes a chore. The gameplay feels in execution, even when the ideas themselves aren't terrible. The Mach Speed gameplay is even worse. Yes, it has speed, but it removes meaningful platforming while keeping hazards, turning progression into trial and error rather than skill. Out of every gameplay style in this game, it's easily the worst. Sonic 06 doesn't just play badly. It feels like the game is fighting you at a fundamental level, like the physics engine and the level design are arguing in real time. Nowhere is that clearer than in the snowboard sections and flame core. Snowboarding used to be a highlight in 3D Sonic. Ice Cap in Sonic Adventure is fast and readable. City Escape in Sonic Adventure 2 feels like a victory lap. Speed worked because the handling made sense. Sonic 06 throws that rule out completely. The board feels detached from the ground, like you're sliding on oil instead of snow. Steering is inconsistent, and small inputs can cause massive overcorrections. You can rotate a full 360 degrees far too easily, which already breaks immersion, but worse, it breaks the gameplay. The rotation can lock you into awkward angles, wedge you into geometry, or outright softlock you. I've had to restart because the physics engine refused to resolve itself. That's not difficult, that's dysfunction. Flame Core introduces a turn on the lights mechanic that sounds fine on paper. In execution, it's awful. The game asks for precision navigation while denying you clear visibility. In the dark, you can't reliably tell where platforms start, what's solid, or where hazards are placed. Progress becomes memorization instead of mastery. You don't feel rewarded for success. You feel relieved that the UI didn't betray you. Later sections push things even further. Aquatic Base traps you in a slow-moving bubble while lasers threaten instant failure. One hit and the bubble pops. It's frustrating, but somehow still not the worst part. Earlier teleportation sections are pure trial and error. You die, reload, memorize, repeat. Then the game strips away your rings entirely during mandatory combat. This is where Sonic 06 completely collapses. Rings are Sonic's safety net. Removing them exposes how unreliable the combat and controls really are. You're not being tested on skill. You're being tested on patience. Ironically, Sonic is still the best character to play. When the game briefly works, it's usually during his sections. That just makes everything else feel worse by comparison. Shadow is slower than Sonic and built around combat, but the mechanics don't support it. His movement feels stiff yet slippery, and small errors are punished harshly. Kingdom Valley and Flame Core suffer from unclear direction and cheap enemy placement. The game demands precision while refusing to provide the tools to support it. Silver is even worse. His telekinesis doesn't always work. His controls are overly complex, and forcing him into Sonic's story completely breaks the pacing. Kingdom Valley shows flashes of potential, but Flame Core actively punishes you for using telekinesis the way the game tells you to. Amy is the worst offender. She's slower than she was in Sonic Adventure. Her invincibility is useless. Invisibility. Her double jump is stiff and her hammer feels sluggish. She adds nothing and actively makes the game worse. She should not have been playable. The final level should have been a victory lap. Instead, it highlights everything wrong with the game. Instant death portals punish slower characters like Amy and Silver unfairly. You die not because you failed, but because your character can't move fast enough. The final doesn't test mastery, it tests tolerance. Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 isn't just unfinished, It's fundamentally broken. Its systems fight each other, its characters are poorly balanced, and its ideas were never properly tested. There are moments where you can glimpse the game it wanted to be, but those moments are buried under frustration, bugs, and design decisions that actively sabotage the player. This isn't a game that fails quietly. It fails loudly, repeatedly, and at every level of its design. Final score 3.5 out of 10. Not because everything's terrible, but because the few things that almost work are crushed by everything surrounding them. Sonic deserved better, and so did the players.